All right. I do think we should label these in your notes. Position, velocity, and acceleration. All right, so E, when, meaning at what moment in time, is the particle moving in the positive direction, and what is it moving in the negative direction? That's what the velocity vector is all about. If velocity is positive, you're moving in the positive direction, which typically is oriented up or to the right. I have this oriented up. And moving in the negative direction when velocity is negative, typically that's going down or to the left. I have it oriented down as the negative direction. So the particle is moving in the positive direction when velocity is positive. The particle is moving in the negative direction when velocity is negative. Okay, and we do have the graphs here, so we can answer this, but I want to have an algebraic approach as well. So here, velocity is positive. Velocity is the green curve right here. It's above the time axis. It's positive from 0 to 2 seconds, and then it's positive again from 6 to 8 seconds. Now, say you didn't have the graph of the velocity function given to you, what you're going to want to do is a sign test on velocity. You know, functions outputs can only be one of three things. They can be positive, 0, or negative. To find out when something is positive or to find out when it's negative, you first want to find out when it is 0, which we did in example 1C. So what we learned in 1C is this whole experiment starts at 0 seconds, 2, 6, and ends at 8 seconds. We learned that velocity was 0 v of 2 was 0, and we learned that velocity was 0 at 6 seconds as well. So that means because this is a nice continuous function, there's only, and we found the only zeros, there's only one of two options. Velocity is either positive or negative between 0 and 2. There's only two options between 2 and 6 seconds. It's either, velocity is either positive or negative. Same thing between 6 and 8. So that's what we mean by doing a sign test. And you can organize this however you want. You've got your time interval. And I want to test the sign, meaning positive, negative, or 0, of what function? Of my velocity function. And then I will know the direction, because if velocity is positive, you're moving in the positive direction. If velocity is negative, you're moving in the negative direction. So my time intervals are between 0 and 2, you could use that notation, or if you prefer, you could use interval notation, however you see fit. But why 2? Why is 2 so important? At t equals 2, velocity was 0. So here we are at t equals 2. Between 2 and 6 seconds, why is the 6 seconds important? Because that's another moment when velocity is 0. Right? We got that from 1c. And then lastly, we're going to go from 6 to 8. And 8 is just the end of this experiment. And all you have to do to test the sign of velocity is pick a number between 0 and 2, plug it into velocity, and see if it's positive or negative. You know, our velocity function, in fact, sometimes people like to look at it in factored form. You can, but if you do that, you want to remember to keep that 3 with you. But let's just grab any old number. My velocity, pick a number between 0 and 2. How about 1? And I'm going to let you go plug in, but we know the answer here is that v of 1 is positive. Pick a number between 2 and 6. I don't know. How about 5? V of 5. I'll let you go ahead and plug it into that velocity function. It's going to be negative. And then pick a number between 6 and 8. I don't know, 7. And velocity, I'll let you go ahead and plug it in and see that that is positive. Your velocity function, again, was 3t squared minus 24t plus 36. Excellent. So in conclusion, the particle is traveling in the positive direction when velocity is positive. In other words, between 0 and 2 seconds and between 6 and 8 seconds. And if you want to put that in interval notation, you can. How about I do it just for fun? We're going from 0 to 2, and then we're also going from 6 to 8. You don't have to, you can just write it as a sentence. Positive direction. And the particle is traveling in the negative direction between 2 and 6. I'll write that, but I'll pause the video for now.